Hey there, I am back with another Free the Pip Friday where we open up some of the rarest decks out there. And for this one, we're dipping into the annual Patreon reward from Stockholm17. This is the Odd Fellows from Patronium. This deck, like I said, part of the annual reward. The Stockholm17 Patreon is a really great one. So Lorenzo will share for his subscribers a ton of behind the scenes details. You get to see the evolution of this deck and many of the other designs that he works on. And of course, at the end of the year, if you're a supporter for the whole year, you get the annual package. And I've got to say, the Stockholm17 annual package is one of the best out there. And of course, the Odd Fellows from Patronium was one of the decks that came in that package. So let's jump into it and find out more about the Odd Fellows. This is actually another version of a deck that was released in several different variants as part of a Kickstarter last year in collaboration with Portfolio 52. It was the annual Portfolio 52 deck. The Odd Fellows featured several different versions of the deck. Very excited to get a hold of that one, but we also get now this even more limited, only 300 of these exist. And this is one that was not released as part of the campaign, but is instead exclusive to supporters of the Stockholm17 Patreon. The deck itself has sort of a motley cast of different characters, the Odd Fellows themselves, all of whom concoct different sort of potions or mysterious mixtures to them. And the Patronium edition of the deck follows the story of Dr. Crow. So we'll get an introduction to him as we go through the deck. Let's start out though by looking at the tuck case, and it is truly impressive. This is made by Boschero and Newton out of Italy. They make some of the best tuck cases around, and this one has tremendous quality to it. Has a mixture of the neon green and the white foiling applied on a black matte tuck with lots of beautiful and delicate embossing all the way through. That black tuck has kind of a blind emboss here. You can see the little crosses that are embossed in the background. Give the deck a really nice texture. And you get this great sort of Victorian style font with the Odd Fellows from Patronium, and then the poker size playing cards. And at the top, I love this, the infamous melange of crushed nails infused into virulent oriental ales. So kind of giving you a hint at Dr. Crow's green concoction here at the top. Bottom here, kind of inspired by a vintage sort of liquor label. You have the 56 milliliters, which I'm assuming is a reference to the fact that there's 56 cards in the deck. And then alcohol 17% by volume, Stockholm17, little nod there. Turning onto the sides, a little bit more neon green detailing, and then the Odd Fellows with the 2021 Roman numerals. Same thing on the other side. Bottom has your ad copy. So made in Italy, which I believe is a reference to the tuck case here. And of course, it mentions Stockholm17, designer of the deck. The little 17 logo there, of course. Top has little hash marks there, naturally 17 of those. And then the back, this is really amazing. This isn't the back design of the cards, but introduces us to Dr. Crow. And the character Dr. Crow, inspired by the plague doctors who worked during the era of the bubonic plague. The doctors would wear this really distinctive mask that had this bird-like beak on it. That was sort of their calling card, if you will. And that beak would be stuffed with aromatics, roses or other herbs that were stuffed in, both to kind of help with the smells that they were dealing with. But they also believed those herbs would somehow protect them from the diseases that they were so exposed to. And so that mask is sort of featured here, along with Dr. Crow, the character. Beautiful mixture of, again, that green and white foil, bright look to it overall. The Odd Fellows at the top. There's Dr. Crow, and you can see him peering at you with the eyes, and the eyes are actual cutouts. You can kind of see there that are revealing the card inside. That gives you the individual numbering. So these are all hand numbered. Mentioned it's a 300 deck series, and of course we have number 219 here. So great look to it overall. Just a really fun design. Love the bright colors. These, by the way, will show up great if you use this under a black light. You'll get some beautiful glow to this as well. As you open up the top flap here, you get the Odd Patronium with the 3 X's there. And then Stockholm17 logo and the triple X there on the other inner flap. And some nice interior printing as well. So you can get all these out. Get that interior printing with those bright green X's all the way down. Great pattern. And get a better look at those little cutouts there for the eyes of the crow. So really nice look to the tuck case. Love even the little details like the little custom cutout for the thumb cutout there. Just a great and distinctive tuck case, especially this back here. Nick, you do get a little look at, this was not actually one of the cards in the deck so much as an extra card that was inserted after and specifically designed to kind of serve as the eyes of Dr. Crow here for the numbering. But again, kind of a great sort of Victorian vibe to it overall. Oddfellows, Stockholm 17. You can see they're also hand signed. So you've got Lorenzo's signature there in silver. And then just a beautiful design to that extra card, just on a black stock there. So there's your extra card. And then we'll look at the back design of the cards, and here it is. So more of those bright greens, a little bit of a different color. This isn't quite that same neon green, but has kind of a paler green look to it overall, but does have a little bit of an almost metallic shine to it. And great look here at Dr. Crow himself. You can see that beautiful long bird-like mask. The top hat has that great Victorian feel to him overall. And then the ring of Dr. Crow representations, each of them kind of clutching a little card there in their hands. A bit of a scribble or a more limited version of the card back there represented in the center. Great patterning all the way through, almost like yarn behind Dr. Crow there. And then this kind of reminds you of like stained glass look to the background, the 4 green X's in the corner, and then that thin white poker border. Definitely a busy deck, but as you'll see going through, that sort of fun jumble of details throughout really, I think, just sort of fits in with the theme of the deck overall. So while normally I would find this a pretty dizzying and sort of busy feel to the deck overall with that back design, I think it just really works well overall. So there's that. The first of the Jokers gives you another look at Dr. Crow, that beautiful mask. Love the distinctive look and just kind of a fun, almost cartoonish look to him. Odd Patronium scrawled in the background there in bright green, and then of course he's got the little vial of his concoction there as well. So very cool. This is unique to this particular deck. Some of the other Jokers that we're going to see are the same artwork that's included on some of the other upcoming versions of the Oddfellows deck. And here are those. So a fun pair here with kind of this Napoleon-esque character, kind of a grotesque, think of like old political cartoons and things like that. It's kind of what this makes me think of. You have Odd Patrons and Odd Fellows scrawled in the back in green. This is a really interesting one. This guy here with the brush in his hand, a little fishing line with the Queen of Hearts dangling above. This is actually based on a piece of artwork from one of the very earliest Stockholm decks that are out there. This is based on a deck called Netent, N-E-T-E-N-T. A deck from long ago. It's a super hard deck to find, but Lorenzo designed it in collaboration with several other artists and designed some of the cards in the deck, including one of the Jokers. And so this Joker that you see here is actually a callback to some of the artwork that he used on his original Netent deck. So just kind of a cool little extra reference there. And the other one, very fun look, kind of petulant character there, clutching his long-stemmed glass that has some of Dr. Crow's concoction in it. So fun trio of Jokers. You also get a double backer, or almost a double backer. You'll see one side here, the Crows are clutching the back design of the cards, and on the other side you can see a series of card reveals or faces of the cards there in the middle. So quasi double backer there. All right, the 4 aces. The Ace of Spades, Power Ace, obviously is going to feature Dr. Crow. Great symmetrical look here as he looks at you head on. Those glowing green eyes. Has a little Stockholm 17 logo there on his lapel. Vial of green liquid there in his coat pocket as well. I love the style of this one. The artwork on it, just kind of that dark feel, really well captured. And I really like the oversized index in the corner with that kind of classically inspired pip, but very kind of larger than life index in the corner. The other 3 aces follow kind of a similar pattern to them, that large pip and index in the corner, but much simpler illustrations in the center. So larger pips, green for your classically red cards, of course, lots of green in the deck, and just sort of random illustrations in the middle. So you have one with I don't know what that is, but like a string being cut by scissors. You have this snake coiled around a bat there, and then a scorpion clutching an arrow. So very random illustrations in the middle of the pips, but kind of a fun feel to those. Number cards continue that random pip illustration style. So you'll see this one has the random phrase pari pari, the little illustrations in the center of the pips. Again, kind of that larger than life feel to the pips. I love the gigantic pips that let you appreciate those random illustrations in the middle of each one. As you go through the numbers, every single one of the pips features a different illustration. No real rhyme or reason to them. They're really just sort of random. You know, we have that plasma ball there, or the hash marks, just randomness everywhere you look. And it's great with just the, again, random vibe that the entire deck has to it. Green cards for the classic red again. Again, all the twos have this sort of random saying on them. Bill H. Rel Powell. Not sure what that's a reference to. But more looks at those illustrations. Love even like here where the 5, like that one pip in the center is a little bit larger. Just gives everything that chaotic feel, but still nice usable deck if you wanted to break this out and use it for a bizarre game of poker. So back to your clubs now with the classic black. And then closing out with the hearts, and that again to that bright green, a hot duo. So quick run through the hearts. And then we get to the quartz. Always my favorite part of any deck, and the quartz in the Oddfellows do not disappoint. All of them feature an amazing cast of characters, kind of in a classic, I don't know, maybe started out from a place of like your classic court cards, but definitely taken a completely grotesque, bizarre, and just flat out fun turn to them overall. Like on the Jack of Spades here, just the great look. He's got that kind of a French styling to him with that curly hair, the arrogant look on his face, the skeletal hand, the rat perched on his shoulder. Just great look to it overall, and the mixture of colors, the purples, those deep maroons, the yellows, and of course those accents of the bright green. Just a great fun look to it overall, and every one of them has different animals and just grotesque details that are so fun to pick out. Queen of Spades here, kind of a David Bowie look with the star eye there. The gator growing out of her own stomach and biting at her hand. Love that one. This one's bizarre to me. He's sniffing the blade of the sword, almost like he's cut himself there. Jack of Diamonds. So this one actually includes the monkey over here, which I believe is a nod to one of the other versions of the Oddfellows deck. The brass monkey appears as the main character on one of the other decks, replacing Dr. Crow. And so we see the monkey here as the companion for the Jack of Diamonds. There's the Queen of Diamonds. Another callback, I believe this is Uncle Tibby over here, this skull character. Again, another one of the versions of the deck that you can see. Love this one, those mismatched eyes. Detail easy to miss, but once you pick it up, it just kind of gives you that little bit of discomforting feel that the entire deck is meant to capture. Love the facial expressions that are captured in all the characters. Just a lot of fun overall, and one of those decks that, you know, you can pick up details all over the place the longer that you look at it. Queen of Clubs, King of Clubs. I love that expression, that sort of angry, arrogant expression there. And then the Jack of Hearts, wearing almost kind of a little version of that Plague Doctor mask. And there's your Queen of Hearts with her martini glass, complete with the eyeball in it. And the King of Hearts, slicing at his own head. Great look to these overall. These pieces of artwork that you see on the court cards, by the way, if you were a backer for the Kickstarter, you can expect to see some of the same artwork on the cards of the Kickstarter deck, just with completely different coloring to them. So little preview there of what to expect when we get to the deck itself. As far as handling, if you do break this deck out, the cards themselves are printed by WJPC. Little less known, but they do a pretty good job with theirs. Really nice handling on the deck overall. A little bit stiffer than, like, you know, if you're used to like a Cardamundi or something like that. Definitely a slightly stiffer feel to them, but they do handle really well. Just have a nice slide to them. So no complaints from a handling standpoint. And the mixture of those WJPC printing, which kind of allowed for that smaller print run, and then combined with the amazing tuck case that Bashero and Newton were able to provide, just produces a deck that's truly memorable and just absolutely bizarre in all the best ways. So definitely a little bit of a harder deck to get. And, you know, I would normally talk a little bit about uses of the deck, but honestly, a deck this rare, numbered out of 300, most of them, it's going to be a collector's deck first and foremost. Now, if you do see these out there, just know that the deck itself wasn't wrapped in cellophane because of that extra card that had to be included after production of the deck and the tuck. It wasn't cello wrapped, so if you see one of these not cello wrapped, that's normal. The cards inside though did come cello wrapped, so did have to break that seal for the review today. But just know that if you ever want to pick one of these up on the secondary market or something like that. But anyway, that's it for now. That is the look at the Odd Fellows from Patronium Dr. Crow edition. Hope you enjoyed this look. I'm a big fan of the deck and can't wait to check out the rest of the Odd Fellows crew as they get fulfilled themselves. Man, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews, more unboxings, and of course, more Free the Pip Friday. And that's it for now, and I'll see you for the next one.